Emotional aeroplane jelly. A short story. Aeroplane jelly was invented by a tram conductor, Bert Appleroth, in 1917, who conjured jelly crystals in his bathtub from sugar and gelatin. Astutely, he sold parcels of the product along his tram route, and then, in the highfalutin age of biplanes that dawned, took his jelly to the air. The brand, Aeroplane jelly, became iconic and ruined the teeth of a nation. You were supposed to add boiling water, but kids would just suck crystals off their fingers from the box. Be that as it may, 3 boxes of Aeroplane jelly, blueberry, watermelon and passion fruit, with the original strawberry conspicuously missing, is all Digby the quivering nerve confined to eat, locked as he is, in the storeroom. We will not recount how he came to be locked in the storeroom. It would be too humiliating. But he is quivering there, alone, and the door slammed shut, and it could be the whole weekend before someone comes home. The first hour he is a mess. Then, when his cortisol frenzy subsides and he overcomes panic and suicidal ideation, he moves into survival mode, and it is then, thinking of provisions, that he finds the only sustenance in the entire place is 3 boxes of Aeroplane jelly, blueberry, watermelon and passion fruit. Digby quivered. The universe truly despises him. Strawberry is the only flavour he fancies. He is a man on the cusp. It has been one thing after another, and then another thing on top of that. It had turned him into a quivering nerve. When he turns around and finds the door slammed shut and he is stuck, he sits on the floor and weeps until his eyes weep dry and until his nerve end quivers. He is officially fragile. Alone, he faces 3 facts. They are so irregularly entangled in the snake pit of his imagination, though, like fancy Japanese bondage knots gone wrong. Every day seemed like a tunnel into ever stranger disclosures. Maybe he had it twisted. Maybe his sheaths were frazzled from the overload of his excessive retrospective. Whether he liked it or not, he was locked alone with his thinking, and only 3 boxes of Aeroplane jelly to keep him going. 1 box for each problem, he thought. The first sensible notion he has had in weeks is to cut the snake into pieces, to offset the venom. It was the nervous disposition blues. He had the quivers of a man on lengthy nerve toxins induced by circumstance, the sick jokes of destiny, such as being stranded in a storeroom when being stranded is the epitome of his present phobias. From time to time he tried yelling, "Help! Help!" but he knew there was no one home. Poor Digby, thought Digby. Yes, 1 box for each problem. First problem, Karen drove a tractor through his dreams. Blueberry. Perhaps Karen didn't mean to drive a tractor through his dreams, but he can't let that be pertinent to the impact, can he? He sat on the floor, opened the box and sucked jelly crystals, blueberry, from his wet fingers as he thought it over. Why would Karen drive a tractor through his dreams like that? "Do you know what it's like?" he said to her. "It's like you're driving a tractor through my dreams." "Your dreams," she spat. "Your dreams are the problem. It's your dreams that have caused all this trouble." She slammed down the phone on his dreams. Then she started up the tractor. Eventually he relented. Karen was, anyway, a blueberry among middle-aged women, and she had her reasons, he admitted to himself. After ploughing through an entire box, he fell into a sugar coma and slept for an hour. The second fact, he had to face it, shocking though it may be, Kevin hacked off the legs of trust with a scimitar. Watermelon. Kevin lopped off the legs of trust at the knees. Digby didn't want to believe it. Why would Kevin do that? Who knew he had that agenda? It turns out he is not a man to trust in a crush. Watermelon is the mother of melons, but it is only a flavour for unconscionably hot days. It's not a flavour for emotional support. Nevertheless, Digby sucked on his fingers and thought about Kevin. "You had your chance, Digby," Kevin had said. "It's the quick and the dead." Kevin was quick, Digby was dead. "But you told me," said Digby, exasperated, flummoxed, lurching. "That was then. This is now," said Kevin, chopping the legs of Trust down to the stumps. After a full box of watermelon crystals, tipping up the box and pouring the final crystals into his mouth was an emotional event. Digby went twitchy. If he didn't have diabetes to start with, he did by the end. A sudden insulin spike slugged him into a new discomfort. He stood up, paced around, cursed Kevin. Kevin would never, never be welcome again. But then came the mellow come-down, and the watermelon on his taste buds cooled his ardour. He had known Kevin for 20 years. Perhaps he had his reasons too. Digby remembered back. He had a childhood friend, Billy the Snot Machine. One day they devoured a box of Aeroplane jelly together, no water required. But Digby's mother felt her wings clipped and said, "Who's eaten all the Aeroplane jelly?" "It was Billy the Snot Machine," said Digby, lying outright. And his mother gnarled Billy by the ear the next time he came over, and Billy thought it was unjust. There was another kid, Andy of the acne, whose mother packed a box of jelly crystals for his lunch every day. Locked in the storeroom, passing the hours, Digby had a lot of time to reconsider all the jelly crystals in his life. There was, however, the third problem. Beverly took a pickaxe to the violin of his heart. Passion fruit. It was the morning of the second day. Breakfast. He tore open the box. The crystals were an unnaturally artificial yellow. Even so, he started sucking the passion of the fruit from his fingers. Beverly came home one day, went out to the tool shed, took up a pickaxe and swung it with malice right into his violin, his central Stradivarius. Ever since, his heart had sounded like a strangled cat. "But Beverly, baby." "Don't Beverly baby me," she said. "I didn't mean it," he said. "No one ever does," she replied, swinging the pickaxe into the violin of his heart again and again. Why would Beverly take a pickaxe to his heart? How could she not love him any longer? The passion fruit, of course, is a vine, and the fruit is a tough-skinned pulp bomb swimming with black, teeth-resistant seeds. Sometimes it can make your mouth go furry, but the flavour, sans seeds, always strikes the palate as aromatic. Digby nuffed down a whole packet in a session. It was all his fault, he had to admit. Beverly was right about that. But did that mean he couldn't hate her guts? Actually, yes it did. But Beverly baby has her reasons too. If Beverly was a fruit, he thought, she'd be a passion fruit most likely. More fruit than passion, but a passion fruit, yes. 3 packets of Aeroplane jelly equals approximately 3,000 calories. No protein or fat, but enough energy to fuel a miserable man. How on earth did he lock himself in the storeroom? He wasn't paying attention. This gave rise to the fourth problem. He is a self-absorbed, neurotic, self-pitying, toxic train wreck with sociopathic tendencies. That, he thought, might take more than Aeroplane jelly.